Deep diving into the world of the OCG today to see how everything is holding up for their meta. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. Deep diving into the 242nd Tayo Championship here, we see Fire King Snake Eyes taking a massive W over this event, which is actually really cool to see that people are like, oh my gosh, you know, like, it's the Snake. Yes, you do play Flamberge, you do play all the extra stuff. Immediate interesting things. The Nation has been kicked down to the side deck, which means they should have the ability to basically get to it. It's named Fire King, should be relatively easy. Play the one circle. Notice that there's no Barong in here. Nope, you play double Garunix. Most of the Kieran does a lot of the work for you. I think 90% of the time. And you do see that Zelantis has been gaining a lot of popularity as well for these variants. I mean, to be honest with you, like that whole little package is really good. And of course, you see anti-scam fragrance down here as well. I like what I'm seeing for our first place list. Now, second place is actually Ritual Beast, and Ritual Beast has been kind of taking off a lot out here. It's been actually pretty interesting to see how this deck has been interacting now that they have a Link monster. You know, Bond's getting to cheat out the Link 4 for, you know, two card, well, technically 3 cards because Bond's itself. That doesn't matter. Something else I see down here that's a little bit scary. You do see Kaiser Coliseum down here being a little bit of a threat. And we've seen Salad in the OCG taking advantage of Kaiser Coliseum, where basically you want to put this up on the field and you want to lock your opponent into the one standard monster clause. It is a little bit of annoyance, I'll be honest with you, but the fact that you're able to, you know, do all of your Ritual Beast combo and then kind of consolidate into the one monster, or, you know, set up into the steeds and things like that, is actually pretty good. So overall, happy to see that this is performing. Next up here we have Pendulum Magicians, and to nobody's shock either, this deck has been doing relatively good as well. Do keep in mind, one of the cool little tech choices you see down here is the Goblin monster, that you can detach materials often of an opponent's monster, I believe, to bring it back from the graveyard or something. But the whole point of the card is, you know, in your Purrely matchup, you're able to feed off of, you know, the stupid cat, and you don't have to deal with, you know, it being a pressuring card on you. Now, do keep in mind, I mean, this deck does struggle to the cat deck, but Purrely in the OCG has been, you know, genuinely dialing back because of the amount of fire that's being lit under it. And yeah, that's a pun to be really thought about there. We're also going to play One Wings Light. They do have Electromite, so they can play the game a little bit differently. It does help the consistency, but it is crazy that even with Electromite, like, this deck does struggle in a lot of the matchups that you really wouldn't expect it to. And then our fourth place list out of this event is actually a 60-card Noid list, only citing the Grasslick screener, which means you can go through and do all this stupid combo. Guess what? Also, Decatron is a level 1 fire. So, you know, you do get all of this reverse synergy with the deck. That is crazy. We do play one of the, what is it, Reveal a Void, discard your hand, and then you kind of go nuts. We're also main decking Phantasmes as well. So this deck has so much gas going about it. It's actually kind of crazy when you think about all of the little combo lines that Noids can actually do, especially now in the link climbing department, where it kind of gets to play more ignorant towards things. And also do keep in mind, we are playing only one Tiara now. We don't have to bulk down any of that other incredibly bad stuff. And your Snake Eyes package, a lot more maximized for this build. I really think that you kind of have to extend out those numbers because you want to make sure that you're able to see this line of play for the deck. Moving on along here to the fourth Yamagata 145th Championship. We once again see, it should be no shocker here, we have another Fire King build coming on in and taking the meta. And you do see that we are maining the Nation, which is pretty, I feel like pretty standard. But you do see one good piece of news for budget players here. See that we're main decking 2 copies of the Sinful Spoils spell card, which I think is pretty good. Alright, by playing the 2, you basically ensure that, you know, you some of the time, but not all of the time. Also, I mean, most of your Sinful Spoils package with Poppyus just helps so much of the combo now. It's actually kind of crazy how consistent that we have things going for us. So really happy to see that Fire finally getting the explosion that it actually needed, kind of keep up with today's meta. Once again, another Ritual Beast deck. Wow, Ritual Beast slammed second in 2 tournaments. This build sporting off the double steeds. Pretty used to seeing that. And then you also see that we have the triple Dimensional Fissure in this build as well. Once again, Dimensional Fissure is this little thing that ensures that this deck is able to kind of go ahead and kind of just play the game and ensure that, hey, we can do all of this, which is what you want to see for, this deck. The consistency also, you have the shifters in here as well. So you should be seeing the ability to get your macro banish pile up and running. And you also side deck the macro cosmos down here as well. So either way, you have this entire vacuum of just banish at your disposal. And that's the thing that's actually allowing Ritual Beast any sort of keep up with the meta. It's that huge vacuum that they can create. Next up is actually OCG Purrely. And this build is actually playing the card that the OCG Labyrinth decks were starting to sport off during the last YCSJ, which is the mass that lets you declare and basically stop your opponent from being able to do anything with it. Which, I hate to say it, but, you might actually have to kind of play that. Purrely can set up the big cat and do its thing. But a lot of Fire King monsters start just snowballing this giant pile of advantage. And I didn't think I would ever say this, but Purrely can't keep up with the snowball that is just that advantage stream. So while you're looking at all that, you might be fairly impressed, but I do think that there is something to this. But the mass card should definitely help this deck keep up. And then we have Silent Forces out here. This is actually Voiceless will probably be our translation for this. But you do get to see that most of your ritual package for this, 2 Saravis, 2 of the Novox, you're playing 4, incredibly fine. Do keep in mind you are playing 3 copies of the starter, which is Novox herself. Most hand trap ratio looks fine. Extra deck, you do want to play the Heralds. You are playing Pot of Extravagance and actually the Pot of Prosperity. Now, the interesting thing about this is we are citing an Eldritch, some Golden Lords down here as well. That actually is kind of cute. It does give the deck some more immediate answers to kind of cleaning up some of the problems that might be coming with the meta. So that's actually really cool. I like the little value that you get with this build. And it does feel pretty optimized for most things. So good stuff. Moving on along here, we have the 8th Terry Championship. I hope Terry won it. But we see Rescue Ace actually taking home a W here. Yay. It's actually sporting off a Shaddoll package down here. Nobody that I have seen in the TCG has tried out this idea, right? The fact that you can try out this engine and dump off some particulars and make app cologne, interesting. Maybe that's something that we should consider out here, Rescue Ace Duelist. Maybe we need to try out this Shaddoll package. Maybe this is actually just the sauciest thing that we've ever needed to consider out here to kind of keep up with the minute. Also, we're main decking Drolls. You have the Super Poly. This is all pretty standard stuff that you're used to seeing with these decks. All right, but interesting take on this deck. And then we have Infernoid. Oh boy, more. This is the sauciest Infernoid deck I think I've seen, because we're playing Dark Fusion in here as well. We're playing one of the Dogmatica rituals. We're playing Fire Recovery. That's fair. We're playing one of the Chimera fusions as well. When you think about the ideas that you can bring to the table in actually this many cards, I think it's really cute, the ideas that you can do. But this build is so crazy out of left field that I am really impressed that somebody didn't think of some of these crazy ideas sooner with this. Like, not only did you have a Shaddoll package site on the last one, you're bringing in some more interesting ideas here with the Dark Fusion. So, okay, I'll take it. Next up here, we have more Ritual Beast. Oh, boy. Ritual Beast. I thought this engine was struggle-uggling, and there is our Gardna, the shield bearer that we've seen a few people, you know, picking up right now because it's Ritual Beast tech choice. All right, it does help, you know, keep up with the consistency that you want. It's a free search. All right, like that's the main reason why you want to play this. Now, this build's only playing one steeds. I feel like most of the time that you want to try to have multiple steeds, it helps out so much just in terms of, you know, the overall combo lines and the things that you want for this deck. All right, so keep in mind, Ritual Beast feels like it's gaining a lot more consistency along the way, but the deck just needs a little bit more, I feel like, but it is keeping up. So I will say that is actually kind of nice. And our last list here is actually more Fire Kings. Okay, I see that we are sporting off the Flamberge Dragon with the Snake Eye stuff. That's actually pretty standard. And then we see Yield Soul Release down there. The mass exodus of the graveyard. You know, that's actually kind of cool. You know, builds like this that are able to take advantage of everything and slam down the meta. Zeolantis for the extra lines. It's incredibly good. So that's everything we have for these breakdowns for the OCGs. What do you guys think? Please, comment down below what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.